pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we need a motion for approval of the previous minutes. Someone make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay, we move to citizens' reports. Is there any citizens here who want to address the council right now? Jeff, you want to address the council?
I printed up the paperwork that the attorney sent me, and I also have the letter that Mike Kimball requested.
Okay. I'm going to give it to
Last minute to go.
Okay.
That's just a regular procedure from the ordinance of the code.
Okay.
That's just
Yeah, okay. So we'll make
Can we read it?
Huh?
Will you read it?
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you.
I mean, you want council to hear about this, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine.
As to the mayor and city council of Bromley dated 4/10/24 regarding citations at 908 Oak Street. The citations are not coming to my address, otherwise I would have addressed the citations. They're being sent to my sister's house in Ludlow, where she no longer lived. To the best of my knowledge, I had no idea where the papers went. I'm in the process of putting my fence up and removing the metal from my driveway. The fencing should be up soon. There will be no more citations issued from this address.
Do we know what the citations are, by any chance?
You know, I don't know. Do you know how much they total?
I have no idea.
2,200, let's see,
I was gonna say, I thought it was around 2,200.
98. $2,292. And I spoke with Courtney, who is our liaison with PDS, and I asked her what her process was. I'm trying to find the email. She will send out, I'm sure, let me see if I can find the email. I'll send it after the last meeting because I wanted to know what her process was so we could have a thorough understanding of what's going on. Shoot.
Is there a certified letter at some point?
She views property, she sends a notice, and if she doesn't get a response, then she posts a notice to the front of the house. And I've asked her, going forward in the future, to take pictures of that notice on the door, so that we have proof. But she says that they get their notice, and then if she gets no response, then she will post it to the door.
Has that always been the process?
Apparently so. I do know when Quentin was doing it, he would also post the notices to the door.
But are they going to change their policy, what I discussed with you, that I want to see that picture?
Yeah, they are. I asked her to please start doing that and make it part of the permanent record with PDS, and she said she would.
Okay.
So once she posts it to the door, she will take a picture of it being on the door.
Okay.
But the letters are sent to the, there's a notice in a letter, and then a notice with, if there's no response, posted to the house.
Okay. The notices sent to the homeowner.
I'm sorry?
The notices are sent to the homeowner,
Correct.
so.
I found it, Gail, if you'd like me to share. I found that email, I remember.
Oh, did I share?
Yeah, I found it. Do you want me to share what she
Yeah.
said? Hello, Gail. Before the citations are sent, I will mail a first notice of violations and a final notice of violation. If these notice of violations are returned, then I post them to the property, mainly to the front door. If there is no action to comply, then I will post the citation after the notice of violations have been posted. So it sounds like mail, and then on the door, and then.
That says nothing about taking the picture.
Well, I did address that after the fact,
Okay.
That's just her process currently, I guess.
currently, and then I asked her to please take a notice going forward of it being posted and make it part of the permanent record.
So she'll add that to her,
Correct.
okay. all
But
right.
in this instance, the mail wasn't being returned, which wouldn't have prompted a notice on the home because the mail.
Well, she got no response, so if she gets no response to her letter,
Oh, then
then she will post a notice to the.
So, but I guess that some of the issues that I guess we're dealing with, if I understand it correctly, the homeowner does not live at that address,
No.
correct?
Nor does she live at the address that they had on file.
Well, that's why I was gonna ask, did they, what address they had on file? Was it the one here or,
There was originally an address in Ludlow, as I recall, and I think the new address is.
that's
now
right, I remember
Florence.
her living there, yeah.
Independence, she lives in Independence.
Independence.
Yeah.
She was the same.
So we wouldn't have seen that on the notice unless it was pinned on your home.
Yeah, I've never seen a notice on my door, not once.
Well, I mean, according to the process, it would have been posted on the house, if that's correct, or on the home.
Yeah, I think they
on the
posted on
home.
the actual property that's being
Yeah.
cited.
That's what's been said in previous instances like this, is they posted it on the home that has the violation.
Okay.
So,
Which would have been his.
which would have been there.
Which would have been,
But,
yeah,
which would have been there.
right.
So therefore, either somebody got rid of it off the house, since you didn't see it, or wind or whatever, correct? I think that's why we're pushing to have these photos taken, to
Yes.
correct
Yeah,
this
that
problem.
would,
That's
You
going
know.
to clear up, will clear up a lot of misunderstanding. That she's guaranteed that that is posted on that door, that address.
Right.
And Gail talked to them, and it's supposed to be done from this point on, okay?
Carol, you didn't give her any specifics about this one as far as where she mailed those notices, if she's mailed them to Ludlow or to the property address or to Independence or. I mean, I would think they would check the PDA's records before they send, because if you got somebody that's an absent owner.
Yeah, when you look at, when they send me my monthly report, they actually have the PIDN number on there, so they are accessing the PDA.
So they should get current addresses.
Okay, well, what does the council want to do about this? I mean, now that we've changed the way we're going to handle it, PDS is going to be taking pictures of it, so we don't have to get into this issue anymore. What does the council want to do with Jeff's issue right now? Did the council want to help him?
Well, we still had the same scenario with Mike Young. His mom lived in Florence, and Mike was claiming he didn't get his notices, so, I mean, this.
Yeah, but that's the total different
Why?
situation, Gail. He came here, he tried to work with him. The guy would not work with us. We asked him to bring stuff back. He never brought it back, am I right?
Yeah, and he was saying things that were just simply not true.
Yeah.
Because there were two properties.
We don't have this issue here, you know what I mean? Jeff's coming to council and address his issues. Mike was, he didn't do anything.
Only after he got notice that the house was gonna be foreclosed on.
I've never received anything.
Yeah. Well, I just want to get this
Well, I
matter
think
resolved.
we had a similar issue, that's with Zach,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken, is that correct?
Yeah, he said he never got it.
I said he never got it.
I don't know of anybody that's ever come here and said, I got my notice.
I
and
know,
I was
I know,
denied."
I know.
You know, and
Well,
I'm not taking any judgments about anybody, but
Yeah.
have you ever heard that?
No. Now, what I do recall is that in Mr. Young's case, we actually, or I'm the one who started, I suggested that we cut it in half. I think that's
Yes, you
in the
did.
minutes.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it went around councils to approve that in particular, but
No, he didn't because you refused it.
he refused it.
Yeah, they stormed down.
So, I mean, I'll make the same recommendation that I did for Mr. Young, that at least get cut in half. So I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Can I make a comment before we say?
Absolutely.
I think it's a good procedure to put in place, and I don't believe we have an actual ordinance for the option of council to make a reduction based off of history or whatever the properties are that are blighted.
Yeah, there isn't.
Is there one? But I think it should be, if we do it, if it's at 50% or whatever, that's the max we can go. So that, because 405 Main Street's getting one hell of a break. They're probably getting, how much knocked off of theirs? 75,000 or?
Who, 305 maybe?
305 Main.
Currently, based on what PDS has, they only owe $25,068. Now, there's probably some additional liens that when our previous code enforcement officer was here, that we've got some liens there. Plus, he also has the amount due on that wall of
Right,
$30,000.
right, I understand the wall.
But then we, didn't
But I
we?
thought the fines were more than the wall. We said if we get our money back from the wall, we'll erase the
Right,
fines.
right, so it's, we gotta.
So that's why I'm saying about a bigger break, but if
No,
we
no,
establish
If
something.
he owes us 25, but he's gonna pay us 35, he's not getting paid.
No, no, he's not, if that's the case, but I didn't know what the additional.
Very similar
fines
to
were.
I was gonna mention this later, but since it came up.
50% of one
He
fine.
brought me a check for $25,000 today payable to this way, didn't make it out, take it payable to the city, and he signed an agreement for me to release that other $5 that I had in my escrow account, so he's got the $30,000.
I just didn't know if council wanted to set it on a percentage or a value because,
I mean, is it standard practice, sort of reduction?
yeah, we had the option, just like we had the
No,
option.
I think, you know, the last, what was the family that came in here and told us to get lost when you cut it down? I think it's on a one-by-one basis is your best bet because, you know, he's been very apologetic and very forthcoming. This is the second council meeting that he's come to. And he seems to be working with us. Is there,
Well, and I go back to, there isn't proof. I know we have a process, but there is no proof that,
there's no proof that
That there
notice was
was
put on his
on the
building
door.
or anytime.
and that's what I had the problem with Zach too, because I would have agreed to give Zach a half off or
And that-
something because there was no proof that he got his.
That policy, as stated from the email, says that if the mail's returned twice, that they'll put a notice on the house. That mail wasn't returned, and if we're going based off of what PDS said, there's a very good possibility that he never really did.
See, take
yeah.
it to the door.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I would go as far as a 75% reduction on,
It's been a problem for years, it's had numerous people in the community, and I just think we should recover. Well, I mean, this is costing the city taxpayer money to abate these problems.
I agree if it's black and white, but in this case, maybe it should have a factor on the decision, but this gentleman's worked for numerous years for the city of Bromley and went well above and beyond his pay scale at that time.
So, if you work for the city, or if you're an employee of the city, or you're a council member, you're entitled to special treatment?
No, I'm not
That's
saying
what you're
that.
saying.
No, well, you can twist words and make them whatever you want to make them, Gail. But what I'm saying is, if you look at the man's history, I don't see him coming in here and bold-faced lying to everybody. Now, the policy shows that there may have never been anything posted on the man's door.
Well,
So,
I don't think that the policy says that, Dave. I think the policy says that they did post it.
Right.
The proof doesn't show that.
right.
yeah, there's no proof.
Proof doesn't show that. Where's the proof that
And I'm
that
like you, it
happened?
says the first letter, and then the final notice, and then the posting of it on the door.
That's what it said.
That's what I said, and so I don't know if that's not the policy or not, but from what she just read, there's an initial violation notice sent. There's a final violation notice sent, and then there's a contact posted on the door of the property. So to me, that was the policy that she read. So there is a policy.
I'd like to rescind my motion.
No,
Of the,
I was
of
gonna
the
say.
50%, of the 50%. I think Danny made a lot of good points, and I'm leaning towards his direction as well.
Is it Mr. Creekmore?
Yes,
Is
sir.
that right? So have you already, there's a fence being put up?
I'm already in the process of it. It's in the back of my truck, and I'm already setting the poles. Yes, sir.
Okay, so you already digging holes?
Yes,
for
sir.
the posts.
Yeah, I'd be willing if there's something in action. I'd be willing to see some improvement as opposed to butting heads and not getting nothing done.
Like what happened to Mr. Young.
Yeah.
I mean, his fines weren't huge. You know, we were giving him like $300. I think it was 600. And we gave him 800, you know, and he refused for it.
Didn't he
You know.
eventually pay for it?
No, it's
No.
on the house.
No,
Did he cut?
They forgave it because
He
he
got
sold
paid
it.
when,
he got paid when it was purchased.
when he sold it.
75% of that value would be $573.
Okay, you making that motion, Andy?
I'll make that motion.
Would that include the expenses for recording the lease and preparing the release and everything? That's what you normally do is.
Oh, plus?
Plus with a deadline is, or some kind of time frame as far as the improvements, the fence and stuff, to be completed.
Well, he's got a
Adding a
deadline.
lot to the motion.
He's already got the deadline to the end
Okay.
of May from PDS.
Oh, okay.
They will come down.
That's actionable then at
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
point.
But with us correction, taking this motion to move it to having that picture, somebody can't come down here and say, because we will have proof that that was posted at their door at that address.
Yeah, I think the change in policy is gonna prevent something like this from ever.
Yeah, I wish we'd talked about this years ago.
I can't agree with that because you're gonna have the same thing. People are gonna say, the wind must have blown it off, or the mailman took it down, or my kids took it down.
But from that point, we can at least
My
say it was
situation-
placed
We can
there.
at least say it was
Your
placed there.
situation is a little stronger.
Yeah.
That's where I was gonna
Like I
go.
said, there is.
Why can't they serve that?
Check back and notice, and
What about a certified, well, doesn't our process be a certified letter?
It might not go to the person living there, though. That's right.
You know, that's PDS, and their procedures comply with statute, you can't comply with city ordinance. I mean, you can overkill this.
I think getting the photo is a plus, is a
I
plus
think
for
that's where
us.
we
We have a
draw
lot
our
more ground
line.
to
And they're
stand
willing
on.
to do it.
Yes.
So
I think that would be our line.
Because if we get the picture and then they say, well, it blew off.
that's how I feel better.
Uh,
Pictures there, no, the fact that the picture's there, if they come and say, well, it blew off or whatever, I said, sorry, you know, picture's there.
It
Two
shouldn't get to
notices
this
and-
point to begin with.
Right.
What is the cost of taking
75 and 46.
75?
So another
You can just
100,
add that to your,
121.
Is that right there? 121? 694. Yeah, so I'll make a motion, that we reduce the fine from $22.92 to $6.94.
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Roll call.
Mike,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Bill?
Quickly, Mayor, can we change the ordinance to stipulate if the pictures are photographed and recorded, and we have that picture, and they come down and say, well, it blew off the door or whatever, our ordinance says,
That's all PDS's procedures, Dave. We can't change their procedure.
Yes.
that we're changing their procedure by.
No,
making
I
this change.
asked them to
Whatever.
take a picture and include it in part of.
I guess what I'm looking at, maybe I'm presenting it wrong, is that I'm looking for something to put our teeth into and say, we can't change it for you. We can't lower this for you because our ordinance says, if we've got a picture of your door and it's there, we can't discuss it with you. That's kind of what I'm looking at.
I mean, you'd have to change the ordinance that you have in effect right now, which is the one that sets out the reasons or the conditions under which council is.
I don't know if there's just an added paragraph
I see
inside
what
the
you're saying, yeah.
current ordinance.
Well, I don't know.
You still like to go.
I like that idea, but at the same time, you know, I imagine a scenario where you have a family and maybe the husband dies, he's a breadwinner, suddenly the grass gets too high, there's a fine, nobody gets it, and then they get drug in here to kangaroo court, and we hit them with $3,000 or something, and we're tying our own hands against our
You
community.
have discretion to either not.
I think it should be at the discretion of council.
I agree with that.
So let the council have
That gives us a
discretion.
leg to stand on without saying, limiting us to, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. That is settled then, okay? All right, any other person want to address this council at this time? If not, we are going to move into the PDS report.
Okay, 240 Shelby Street recently sold, and it has $3,115 in liens that I asked Carrie if we had any, received any money on those, and she sent me the deposits. We have not received any. 240 Shelby, the one that we had all kinds of trouble with the guy, I think he was from North Rental Property, and
The one right down here that they fixed up?
Yeah.
and it's sold. There's 2 young guys living in there, and there's $3,000 worth of liens that Carrie has no record of ever receiving.
I thought they paid for our check and see if I could-
Okay, she sent me the deposits, and I didn't see it, she didn't see it.
What?
Yeah.
I've heard there's been some noise complaints.
Yeah, they had a huge party down there, which I made Cody aware of, they're calling it the frat house. The night we drove by, there was at least 60 to 70 people inside the house, with people blowing out onto the new deck that they put on the side of the house. Plus, there was a party bus there.
I've seen that before, but I thought it was just an open house for the sale.
No, it isn't. It's 2 young, to my understanding, it's 2 young guys in their own business.
That was
so-
one section, well, we're gonna replace curbs this year, so I'll wait for that.
That's when we party.
Okay, so 1741 Highwater, which is the house that burnt, they applied for a demo permit on that. Kim, have you sent a letter to 13 Boone Street regarding their liens? It's the Mac property?
Yeah, I've got to see
You got, okay, because they currently have $7,300
Yeah, I
in
need-
liens.
I need to get a motion filed on that.
Okay, and there was 3 new cases open in March.
All right. Please, Cody.
Everybody reading my report?
Yep.
Boring as usual.
Sweet. Yep.
Yes. Any questions?
No, city councilman,
Yeah, Cody, Mike and I talked about this. We have installed lighting in the pavilion at the park.
Yeah.
And it's set up right now to automatically come on at dusk and go off at daybreak.
Mhm.
Do you see an issue with having that versus motion detector? I mean, is it a plus for you guys?
I would just leave it on all the time, that way people know it's there, it's a deterrent.
So it's a plus for you guys?
I would just whatever's cheapest for you guys, but yeah, it's always nice to be able to see what's going
We
on.
didn't know, Cody, if the lights would come on and somebody would look over and see what was going on, you know what I mean?
I understand that.
That's the only thing we were thinking about. It might get a little more attention if it's dark and all of a sudden it lights up.
Yeah.
But that's why we're asking you.
It doesn't really matter. I
Doesn't really
mean,
matter.
having the lights on all the time just makes people aware that, hey, you can't go over there without being seen.
Okay.
Whereas, somebody may want to sneak over to do stuff, next thing the lights are on, and then.
We'll just do that. Just leave it like that.
And if we run into problems, there starts to be some issues, we can readdress it.
Fine, okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions for Cody?
Going back to this light situation now,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter to me what they do. But the only thing that doesn't make sense to me is we just posted all these signs saying park closed from dusk till dawn. And now we're lighting up the pavilion. It seems to me like we're just going against our own
Well,
our own rule as far as when the park's gonna be open or not.
I think that was more of an idea to help protect it, because you can't see what they're doing if it's dark under the pavilion, if they're marking stuff up, or if they're smoke doing, you know what I mean, Bob?
I understand
And
that.
that's our reasoning behind that, that I don't think people are gonna do something really illegal if it's lit up, like Cody was just saying, they have a less tendency to do something, am I right, Cody, or?
Yeah, I mean, that's
Oh, of course.
a good point, but I understand what he's saying at the same
You
time.
know,
so.
it's like sending a message, sending a mixed message there, that, the park is closed, but yeah, the pavilion's lit up, so come on down, you know.
People don't pay attention to our messages anyway.
Huh?
People don't pay attention to our messages anyway.
No, I guess not.
Yeah.
What, is it just one light out there at the pavilion, or?
No, there's 2 lights.
A couple lights. They're in the center of the pavilion.
Yeah.
Up real
I
high.
mean, everybody drive by there, take a look at it, and see what you all think. If it should be on
We'll
tonight.
turn them on tonight. Well, no, with the breakers off,
Oh, okay.
I'll turn them on tonight.
And just everybody take a look at it, bring it back to next council, decide whether we want to keep it on or keep it off, you know?
Can we do a motion sensor on?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
My only problem would be if I lived next to a motion sensor,
Yeah, every time it came on.
yeah. If I was those houses,
Looking at your window.
yeah.
Well, then
Or living in a
see
strobe light when a bird flew
That's
up.
true.
Birds
Cast
don't fly
everything
at
and
night,
send it all.
yeah, yeah.
Well, let's just try the light, and then if everybody says, hey, I think it'd be better if we turn them off, we'll turn them off, okay? And we'll try that for now.
Are you seeing an uptick in, I'm seeing a lot of car thefts on Facebook.
Park thefts?
Car thefts. You haven't gotten any?
I think they had some in Ludlow the other night, Jack Prairie.
None in
talked about
Bromley?
Was one in Bromley.
We had
Yeah.
one,
Bromley.
it was my neighbor.
Yeah,
Yes.
across the street.
That has to do with them leaving the keys in the car 99% of the time, almost, unless
With a
it's a
key.
Kia.
It was a Kia.
So,
Yeah.
and there's not much you can do about it, that we haven't, nothing to park kills in
Okay.
one here.
It just seems like I've been seeing a lot of.
Now, I know we had a
last
car
night.
broken into last night, but there was, Ludlow, Fort Wright, and somebody else got hit real hard, the car break-ins.
Oh, okay.
So, but that usually happens when people leave their cars unlocked. And that's why I tell them, if you're not gonna have anything valuable in the car, you leave it unlocked if you want. We don't want to have many people break out windows unless you leave something valuable in the car in plain view.
Inside.
So,
Okay.
I think we had one last night.
Okay, thank you.
I was just curious.
Thank you.
Sunday or Monday, somebody on 10th Street reported a car going down 10th Street towards, 10, and a guy running with the car and stopping and checking the doors on all the cars. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see that. The one approached me about it and let me know they had that video. It'd be nice if they could get it. If you want to reach out to them and have them send me that video.
I think Janet, my sister-in-law here, had it. I don't know where she got it from, but I'll see if she.
It was
she
on
can send it.
Facebook, because I saw it on Facebook too.
Someone said, send that to me.
See if
You
you
might
find
like
it.
it.
Okay,
Yeah, because I could send that out to, the area departments and see if anybody knows a person,
okay.
or if they have the same problems. We get that problem a lot in the summer when people riding bicycles. You'll see them riding real slow up and down the street. And you think you're just riding your bike, and in reality, they're checking cars as they drive by, as they ride by. So,
Okay. Nobody here from the fire department. I guess I'm going to ask to find out where they stand, because I know they're in a little bit of a change out with Mike Stewart should be coming out of his retirement here, but I don't know. I'll have to find out what's going on with that.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
In February, we paid the fire department a payment of $5,800 and some change, and we paid them $7,500 in March. What was the increase?
I'll check into it. I think it was according to the, I'll check.
Seems to me there was something to do.
What was
with-
the first rate?
I think it was
5,800
had to do with
change.
timing.
It went up to 75.
It went up to 75. I didn't think the new contract was gonna kick in until, July 1.
I thought,
Didn't we accept the new rate?
We did, yeah.
yeah.
We
I
accepted the
think there
new
was
rate,
some
but then
sort of
said we weren't
confusion
gonna
with that.
officially accept the contract until the
We did.
new fiscal year.
Yes, we did.
So that's where your increase is.
Yeah, it takes care of the adjustment of the change of the timing of the contract.
Yeah, we do like a provisional, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
I knew there was a discussion, but I didn't think it was taken
I think we
effect until
voted,
the,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was just for the first 6 months of the
Right.
contract.
Okay,
You good?
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Like, whole committee?
We just talked about, we've got a guy coming next week for the audio visual, and still looking for the right tables for equipment, or so that the equipment can fit in the tables without being an obstruction, or hopefully make it look professional. You guys may have more.
Got a guy, drywaller, gonna give us a price. Got an electrician coming to give us a price on getting 2 circuits all the way from the back into the room, because the room's nothing but knob and tube, so we gotta get 2 20-amp circuits up to the area, and then we can finish the electric and stuff. Mike's already installed the HVAC system.
Got the company in here to put it in, yeah. So,
Yeah, his company didn't do it, it was another company.
and, but I was here, yeah. So it looks good, they did a good job.
Yeah.
The only other thing is that, I want council to be aware of, and I was talking to Diane about this, when I was up on the roof, that siren we had up here for the fire department, that platform's about to collapse. So I've asked Mike Kendall to get a hold of the roofer who did some work down there, to get up on the roof and give us a bid. You have to get a crane in here, because that thing probably weighs 300 to 400 pounds. So we'll have to lift it off the roof, and then they'll have to repair the roof, because the wood goes up through the roof, you know, and they built that platform with that big hand siren. I wish somebody wanted that thing, you know.
Is that on
It's
the-
got to come off, you know.
Is that on the flat roof or is that on the?
No, it's on the pitch roof.
the
Yes.
pitch?
It's at a bad spot. If it falls over, it's gonna roll down.
That mean you're gonna remove the three-phase too?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll get on to that.
Mike?
Yeah.
Last night, I came over here with Pat, she wanted to mop
Yeah.
the floor down, clean up a little for the meeting tonight.
Right.
And, we also, we've got a rental this weekend.
Okay.
We wanted to hose down the patio
Yeah.
out there. Well, I hooked up the hose and then I turned that water supply line on there.
Yeah.
5 minutes later, I had a puddle the size of Cleveland next to the, in front of the refrigerator in there. That line was leaking somewhere.
Oh, shit. Is that in the wall or the floor?
That's the one that you use that white tubing and you use those compression fittings on there.
Uh-huh.
It goes right out to the patio, but somewhere there's a leak and I reached down under where it comes out through the wall and I'm looking for water coming in. I can't find any there, but, I'm gonna get Jack with me tomorrow. We're gonna come over here and go out and we'll bring a couple of hoses from down the garage and we'll just hook them into
And
the,
I'll check that line and see why it's.
we'll hook it into the tub in her room back there, in the custodian's room. We'll just run a hose out and hose everything down, but,
Okay.
I mean, if you're busy, if you want me to take a look at it, I will, but, I mean, you installed that, so I thought
Yeah,
you might know.
now let me take a look at it, see
Right.
what came loose from last week. And
No.
I did want to thank Bob and Jack for doing the demo up in the city building, you know, letting them do that site, saved us a lot of money. They removed all the junk, took all the trash. And I
Built the
mean,
wall, built the wall.
built the wall, you know what I mean? They did a lot of stuff that really helps the city out financially, you know? So I just want to make a note of that.
You want these boxes out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take them out. We gotta keep them.
Okay.
You're gonna talk about the retrofit of the lights? that-
Oh, I was gonna bring it up on the mayor's report.
Okay,
Road light day.
Road night. I want to thank Jack and,
Bob.
Jack and
How
Bob.
quickly I forget.
I was trying to think what I was,
Yeah.
the stop blocks is what I was stumbling on. But they were put out, I went out and marked the locations for them and contacted Bob and they went ahead and put them in and installed them. They look really good, well visible. I think they'll do the trick. I was down in Florida this weekend and they had a lot of the concrete ones that I traveled across. And so if these don't do the trick, then we'll start putting some of those little ramps in. You know, they're not as bad, but the fact that you hit a couple of those with some speed, you will feel it. So we'll watch them and see how they go. But thanks again. It
We got a
was a
lot
good
of
looking
positive,
job.
yeah, we got a lot of positive feedback
Good.
on there and, we could probably use about a dozen more.
I started to say we can order some
I'm
more.
sure they're expensive.
Yeah. And then all the street lights have been switched out to LEDs, and I don't know what the bill will look like on those when they first come in, but I'd like to see, be able to find out what the difference is. So,
You know, the lights on this Shelby Street down by the ballpark, have they been switched out?
there was one or two I saw that wasn't, but I'm gonna reach out. I didn't know if they ran out of parts or whatever, or if they're coming back, or if they didn't think those were a part of the original package.
I'd like to see that, because if we want to protect the parking lot, we need that lit up, you know what I mean? No
Yeah,
light.
and so I thought I'd wait and see if they come back and do it. If not, I got the guy's name, I'll call him, and at the price and
I think there's one,
savings,
only
I think-
2 other lights in the middle of Shelby by the park.
Right.
They do so well, especially like one on Steve Tanner, that I'm a little worried that, it does light up the basketball court a little bit. I was a little worried that the kids would just say, hey, still light out.
Yeah.
I've been watching it, they've been leaving at dusk, pretty much for the most part. So,
I think it
those lights are awesome,
real
those lights are amazing.
They all the same wattage throughout town, the lights, or they're,
Some are brighter than others,
that's what I was gonna say.
and they did a light illumination study when they came in, and because of the distance of the next light, they went brighter. Because of the safety factor of an intersection of such, high-speed street and stuff, so they matched them all up, and I've got all the paperwork at home, but it gives like a flood pattern on a graph that shows how much they light. And we can upsize that light graph, or we can downsize it. The one down by Oak Street and Pleasant was too bright because they have some higher buildings.
Right.
And so we ended up lowering that one. So,
I think ours on our corner is a little on the dark side compared to what was there.
okay, all right, I'll talk to them about increasing that one. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, Dave. Bob, you got anything you want to say?
No, we pretty much covered everything we've been working on these days, so.
Okay. All right, good. Okay. All right, Ken?
All right, I gotta put things here if I can find them. I sent everybody a copy of this municipal order. This is the next step in the C-21 procedure. I don't know, I thought when that woman was here a couple of months ago, she said, I thought she was gonna take it from there, but.
No, we needed the municipal order.
Well, this is to proceed to the next step with that. This is municipal order 4124, municipal order of the city of Bromley, Kenton County, Kentucky, authorizing an application to the Kenton County Planning Commission for the repeal of the current Bromley zoning code and zoning map and the adoption of a new zoning code and new zoning map. Whereas Planning and Development Services of Kenton County conducted an audit of each zoning code in Kenton County, whereas the Bromley zoning code was found to be outdated, unnecessarily legalistic in tone, and difficult to use, whereas the Planning and Development Services of Kenton County launched the Z21 zoning for the 21st century project with 11 cities in the county and developed a new zoning blueprint with nationally recognized consultants, whereas Bromley representatives spent more than 2 years reviewing, editing, and developing a new zoning code and zoning map for the city of Bromley with the assistance of the Planning and Development Services staff, whereas the city of Bromley desires to have a zoning code and zoning map developed through the Z21 process adopted. Now therefore be ordained by the mayor and city council of the city of Bromley. Section 1, that the mayor is directed to submit an application to the Kenton County Planning Commission for the repeal of the current zoning code and zoning map and replacement with an updated zoning code and zoning map. A copy of the proposed zoning code and zoning map are incorporated in this municipal order attached as Exhibit A. Section 2, the effective date of this order is upon passage.
I make a motion that we accept municipal order 4124.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Let's just get one reading, Kim.
Yeah, it's just a.
Yeah, Lisa, you have a second, right?
I'm sorry.
Gail
Second
seconds.
motion.
I second, yes.
Did she say, are we supposed to send that back into her, I guess?
I'm sorry.
Are we supposed to send that back into her, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you.
I'm not aware of the fee associated with it.
All right, and I've got ordinance 4124, an ordinance establishing a sidewalk cost share program within the city of Bromley, Kenton County, Kentucky. Whereas by ordinance, property owners are completely responsible for maintaining the sidewalks adjacent to their property, which include sidewalks that run along public streets. Whereas well-maintained sidewalks provide for pedestrian safety and reduce property owner liability. Whereas well-maintained sidewalks improve the appearance of neighborhoods and increase property values. Whereas the City Council of the City of Bromley desires to institute a cost share program to encourage property owners to repair their sidewalks that are currently in need of, or currently in disrepair. Now therefore be ordained by the City of Bromley as follows. Section 1. There is hereby created within the City of Bromley a cost share sidewalk improvement program on terms and conditions set forth in Attachment A. City of Bromley Sidewalk Cost Share Program incorporated herein by references that are fully set forth. Section 2, eligibility for participation in the cost share sidewalk improvement program, and the amount of funds to which any applicant is entitled under the program will be determined by the mayor of the city and the chairman of the Bromley Road and Light Committee and the Ways and Means Committee, based upon program requirements and any issues related to engineering. Written notice regarding eligibility will be provided to applicants at the address provided in the application required by the program. Section 3, any person aggrieved by a decision of the mayor and the chairs of the Road and Light Committee and Ways and Means Committee shall have the right to appeal to the legislative body. The appeal shall be taken by filing with the legislative body within 14 days after notice of the decision has been mailed. A written statement setting forth the grounds for the appeal. The legislative body shall set a time and place for the hearing, and notice for such hearing shall be given to such persons at least 7 days prior to the hearing. The order of the legislative body after the hearing shall be final. Section 4, all ordinances in conflict herewith are to the extent of such conflict repealed. Section 5, the invalidity of any section, subsection, or sentence of the ordinance shall not affect the remainder. Section 6, this ordinance shall take effect and be in full force from and after its passage, approval, and publication according to law.
That's the first reading. Somebody will make
That's
a,
the first reading? Right.
yeah. That's the first reading.
Does this effectively create the program?
Got to read it a second time.
But I mean, it will.
We will eventually.
By July 1st, which is when it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Budget in place.
I do have some.
I have,
Go ahead.
is there, I'm assuming, since this is a show program, there will be a fund created.
Budget.
And there's, how much is going to be contributed to that fund by the city annually? Is this set amount up to a certain cap, or?
There'll be an amount set by way of the budget that we'll have to approve.
Okay. So it could change annually based on the budget?
It could, but, you know, most of the whole program is based on the severity of the sidewalk, okay? That's why we pay for that study.
Right.
On the sidewalks. So, I guess once a sidewalk is chosen to be done, the way this thing should work is we have a meeting with the homeowner, and we'll generate a cost estimate for them. And then we will discuss issues such as, what if the resident would like to do the demo? Okay?
Okay, yeah.
They'll have the ability.
That's a huge savings.
They'll have the ability we'll have the ability to put together a site-specific agreement before anything's done.
Gotcha. Now, the contribution on the part of the city, is that also flexible, because it's not? It's not specified.
50%, that's it.
50.
50%.
It's in that attachment.
Yeah.
I thought I printed the ordinance with my packet today, and I'm not seeing it in here. I did write down some questions I had.
And there will be, we can't have everybody in this city come out and replace all the sidewalks. I mean, we can't afford that.
Well, our sidewalks were in pretty good shape all around, so that's good. And then, I was part of the sidewalk program before, and we didn't have a lot of takers on it. Our fund, we had an allocated fund just for that matching program, and there were years went by, it didn't get touched. So you never know.
I think it'll be slow rolling out, to be honest with you. Although we do have a candidate, like we talked before, the sidewalk around the old school. He's willing to be the first, I guess, test project or whatever.
Yeah, he's got water coming in.
Well,
all
water's
around
coming
places.
water's also coming in by way of some cracked, curbing and undermining the sidewalk that's going down Steve Tanner from corner to corner, so, we've discussed how to address it, and he's willing to pay his share and all this good stuff.
But he's
So
also.
he's gotta do his part first, which is in the discussions we've had with them and the cost estimates from an engineer, well, not an engineer, take it back, from a contractor, and studied or looked at by an engineer, and they checked the cost estimates. It's gonna work out where, since his sidewalk is, I don't know how wide it is, we're talking about a lot more concrete than typically taken out by a normal
Yeah, it's like
sidewalk.
10 foot wide or
Yeah,
something.
and it goes all the way to the building. So he's in agreement to demo everything, our curbs, his sidewalk, all the way down from Boone Street to Steve Tanner, and get rid of all the demo product.
Does it need that? It needs, you think it needs that? A
Oh, yeah.
complete demo?
Yeah.
It's that bad?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's getting undermined underneath there. The
Oh.
water's actually going down underneath and coming back up, close to its foundation, coming back up and then running down across the sidewalk all the way down to Shelby.
gotcha.
And,
And in the past, we've replaced, if you look, there's the tar mark down the middle of the road, and then there's tar marks out. Those are sections of concrete with the buses always going up through there.
Oh, yeah, sure.
We've had one actually drop about that far before. We've had to take care of the underbase and pour new concrete on that street. So if it's going under the sidewalk, I don't know if it's going under the street. There's no way, we don't have any equipment to be able to check x-ray under the concrete. They have equipment out there, but it's expensive. So if we rip the curb and sidewalk out, we're gonna be able to see what we may need to do under the street also.
right. But he's willing to take care of all of the demo of everything. And then in replacement, we will pay our portion of the curbing that needs to be put back, and then we'll pay for a 4-foot wide sidewalk down there. Not the 10-foot wide, we're putting a 4-foot wide sidewalk down there, so that's
Well,
reduced.
he would be paying half,
Yeah.
right, through
Well,
this.
let me finish this whole thing,
Okay.
okay? Because the curb's not, the replacement of the curb is not his responsibility, it's ours. Okay?
Okay.
So, by him taking the demo portion of our portion, we had to figure out the cost of that. How much would it cost to demo the curbing? To be able to look, to see if this came out 50-50. So it actually came out pretty damn close, so, and I got
So
all
he's
the-
doing the demo, we're doing the sidewalk, and it's
and
everybody
the
wants to work.
curbing, and the curbing, which is our responsibility, okay? He's not paying for any of the curbing. But he's gonna demo the curbing, which gives him a break, off of the half, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay, and it comes out almost 50-50, so,
so everybody wins,
everybody wins.
yeah.
And there'll be green space, sidewalk to curb, and then from sidewalk to building.
So he is gonna put green
He's putting
space
green
down
space in
there.
there, yeah.
Will that be a good place, if we are awarded the grant for trees, to put a well or two, to put some trees?
Might be,
Yeah.
might be.
It
Might
might
be.
have the space.
Might be, yeah, he'd probably be welcome to it too.
Yeah, he would definitely be welcome.
That'd be wide enough for 2 boxes.
Awesome,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'd locate closer to the corners and catch basins, but I'd say.
Yeah,
If we're awarded, hopefully we'll get awarded the grant, maybe a
Yes.
good place to start.
yeah.
We don't really need this program to implement what's going on there though, right? If he's doing the demo.
Well, we decided to use this, I think Gail recommended, maybe this is like a first demo project to address it. So that's the way we're gonna do it with every resident. In other words, if a resident says, well, what if I can take all the sidewalk out? Because you're gonna get those. People saying that because you got construction workers and all this jazz. So it may not fit, and we'll sit there and say, you know what, no, let's just do this 50-50 so we're not arguing at the end or whatever.
Right.
This is a huge project. So this fits best, in my opinion now. I think, especially since he's got all the equipment to do that. And
Yeah, I don't disagree disagree with you. The only thing that I see missing from the ordinance and I would like, and, I'll probably vote for it anyway, the way it is, but I wish it was an allocated fund.
Yeah,
With a cap.
it will.
It will be.
You talking about the total
The
program? The total
I'm
program?
matching the program.
The
So-
total program, you're saying, let's say we put $50,000 in this program. Is that what you're,
Well, I'm saying maybe you say there's gonna be $50,000 cap on the program with, the city giving $10,000 a year with a cap of 50. So if nobody strikes in on the program for 4 years, suddenly you've got $40,000. And I'm just.
I would adjust the program each year, you know. I would,
Adjusting,
in other words, let's set this year, let's use, I mean, we've already got $20,000 in there, we've used $300. And we used $300 to have an engineer take a look at the cost estimate to make sure it was a good estimate.
Yeah.
And, so and that made us comfortable, right?
Yeah.
And
That's,
so-
that's a slippery slope going down that hill.
Yeah.
We gotta make sure we got expertise when that goes back.
Yeah, but that's a lot of
What I-
infrastructure.
What I'm suggesting is that we maybe bump that up next year, and put another 30,000 on top of what we already have, so we've got 50,000.
So don't tie our hands,
No,
that's what you're saying.
yeah, yeah, because we don't wanna, I mean, we're not gonna be spending $50,000. You know, there's no way.
If we have this fund, and let's say time rolls by and the money isn't used out of it, is maybe, and this is the last thing I promise.
No, you're fine.
Maybe an income-based, aspect added to this, where if the homeowner can prove that they're below a certain income level, our match increases. Because we don't want failing sidewalks in front of people's homes because they
Right.
believe that they can't afford it.
Right.
And that gives us the tool to actively reach out to lower income people.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one other comment I need to make is that the residence portion has to be paid up front before any shovels are put in the ground. So in other words, if it's gonna cost them, say, $10,000, and our portion is $10,000 total, and which
So they
is,
gotta pay.
which is a lot for, whatever that is for
Yeah.
a house, right? We gotta have their $10,000 first before any shovels in the ground,
Okay.
and then we'll start.
But they don't have to come up with the full cost of the project,
No,
and then wait
no,
for reimbursement.
no.
So that's good.
No.
Yeah.
That's how we thought,
Yeah.
originally, if you remember, we were trying to put them on a payment plan, and then Gail brought them against the Constitution, or I think is what it was. That we weren't allowed to do that. We weren't allowed to, finance their portion. This way, we're having them pay their portion up front, and then we start the construction.
Gotcha.
But then you also got it in there that if they can't afford it, that you're gonna let them make payments until they build up.
That's correct, but there's no shovels hitting the ground until it's paid in full.
Understood, but is that not gonna kind of, deflect, okay, so you got, let's use an example, you got resident A, let's say you got 5,000 in the fund. Resident A needs $3,000, he pays his up front.
Mhm.
Resident B comes in, there's 2,000 left in the fund because we only hit 5, okay? So,
Before you answer, I think we would have to come back and request additional money to put in the fund from council.
Yeah.
okay, and that's what I was gonna say, because like resident B comes in, and he has his 2,000, but he don't have the money.
Yeah,
So that's all the money, and he's paying on it, and then resident C comes in, and he needs 3,000, and there's no money, but resident B is holding up.
we'll make sure, we'll come back to council and make sure that,
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I do have,
Oh.
I do have quite a few questions and comments on this project. First one, who directed the parameters for the program?
What program? The sidewalk?
The sidewalk program, yeah.
Me and Mike discussed it many times.
The parameters for it, the guidelines.
Actually, I put together the guidelines, after researching a bunch of different cities, and actually Andy and I met, and we discussed what I actually put together for him to review, and he felt that was okay, so that, Mike and I sat down and talked about it. Now, I didn't come back and say, this is it, Andy, I apologize for that, but
I was
I
just,
knew he was working on a sidewalk program, and we did one in my last community in So I went back and found our ordinances, of course, Ohio, but yeah, I provided that.
I was just
Also
wondering,
then, I also then gave all the research I did to Kim.
no, I was just curious why, you know, the rest of council is just now hearing about it through the ordinance, what the guidelines are gonna be, because all the council is supposed to be involved in enacting and creating ordinances. I'm just wondering,
I was contacted periodically, but that was due to relating to the curb work,
right,
some of the sidewalks.
but it was never openly discussed as far as what,
Right.
where we wanted to go with the program. That's all I wanted to say. So are we gonna send, notice of violations to residents,
That's up to council.
you know, that's part of our original sidewalk ordinance that exists now, is that they're supposed to receive notice of violations if their sidewalks are not in compliance. So, or are they gonna voluntarily approach the city to,
I hope they voluntarily approach the city, you know, when they're notified, you know, you know, at least we let them know, we did this study. Yours is probably the worst in town. We've got this program, blah, blah, blah.
are we gonna send notices, I mean, are we gonna send out letters to let residents?
That would be the best approach as far as I'm
Before
concerned.
you find them, to let them know that, hey, we have this program and, and
I think once
you
it's
can
out there,
make use
once
of it.
it's out there and we tell them, we can actually direct them to the website. And they can look and see if their sidewalk is in
Right,
disrepair.
but it might, I mean, to give them a heads up that the program
Sure.
even exists.
Right.
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
before you find them.
Well, not even find them, just send them, you know, we had this study done, your sidewalks in violation, we do have this program.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of finding them. I'm a fan of trying to get them to do it.
Well, I'm just saying notice of, I mean, a notice of violation is just that, it's not the fine, you know.
I'm not a fan of those either, but I'm only one person.
Okay, currently in the ordinance that we are considering right now, it says the mayor, road and light, ways and means will be involved in determining the amount eligible. Wouldn't it be easier just to have a 50% up to a certain dollar amount? 50% or up to, you know, like $1,000, $2,000, rather than going a case by case. This way it would make it simple to administer.
I may have jumped the gun calling this an ordinance, because I know at the last meeting we talked about the fact that we had 3 months until the new fiscal, this would start in July of '24. Maybe I should have just sent this out as, you know, discuss it at the council meeting. So,
Well, okay.
Any comments on having like 50% or up to a max to guarantee that many people can take advantage of the program and not just?
You talk about site-specific max? In other words,
Yeah, like
each thing is gonna be different.
well,
So where do you set the max when you maybe might even not hit the right amount?
So if 50% or, okay, so let's say it's a $1,000 project. So the max that anybody can get is 1,000. So 50% or 1,000, or up to 1,000.
You talking about the total, so their portion is 500?
Right,
Is that what you're saying?
yeah, it would be, and
If
if
they
it
have a
was
bigger
a
sidewalk.
$2,000 project, then they would qualify for the $1,000. Or 2,500, they would qualify for the 1,000 as opposed to 1,250.
And they would have to make, so then it's not a 50-50
It's not a
program.
50-50.
No, well,
Yeah.
Do you say they could come back and ask for the additional?
I want to stick with 50-50. If it's a $3,000 project, it's so simple. You know, 15 for you and 15 for us.
Some properties are 30 feet wide, and other properties are 120 feet wide, so 50/50 is gonna be, you know, it's more fair, because they're gonna spend more money to get that 50 than the
Yeah.
smaller person, so 1,000 may not cover
well, I just threw that out there.
Right, no,
I'm saying-
I understand what you're saying, you're trying to put that in place.
Right.
If you,
As long as there's an option to come back and open the door again and say, yeah, if you're gonna do the whole sidewalk, then we'll increase it to 50%.
well, there's a rather large project that seems to be moving ahead of this too, and if you put a cap on it,
Right.
out of the gate, then you're not gonna be able to sort of help out in that instance. But I guess that's where road and light comes in, because it's gotta go through basically committee to
And not that people proactively like to spend money, but does their sidewalk have to be in violation to qualify for this 50/50? What happens if somebody just thinks their sidewalk is bad and wants to replace?
I think we said,
Yeah, it says
It has to be in violation.
Yeah, you can't just,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, our goal is
I
that-
don't like the way my sidewalk looks, it's not.
Yeah.
our
Okay.
goal is to get worse first.
Yeah,
Right.
the
I
trade-
understand
And then
that.
see how that program went, and if council wants to, you know, if somebody wants to replace all their sidewalk and it's not all in disrepair, if council wants to maybe continue the program to fix the rest of the city, we'll vote then.
But right now, we're just gonna hit with the trouble areas.
What,
trouble
okay,
areas.
yeah.
And you can always, go through a year and see how it goes.
Why? I just know that somebody will say or think, you know, they're
Oh, yeah,
getting
yeah,
money,
yeah, yeah.
so.
Well, I give you a good example. Actually, when we were doing the walk with Joe down here, he's pointing out, he says, now would this qualify? This area right here. And both Mike and I said, yes, this does. As a matter of fact, you could tell it qualified, because it was a trip hazard,
Okay.
basically. And a trip hazard definitely is tagged as a qualifier.
Yeah.
And I said, now, that right there, from there on, that doesn't qualify. Now, if you wanna do it at the same time, that'll be at your cost. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay,
And which makes more sense to me, you know?
right,
Yeah, like one piece was like, it's like a 4x4 area, it come up about 1.5 inches on one end.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we want to replace. We
Yeah.
don't want to replace all the rest of the sidewalk, we just want to replace trip hazard.
Right.
Yeah, this says that the program participants, only a portion of sidewalk in need of replacement is determined by the city is eligible for the program.
Okay. Okay. The other thing is this, that you've got road and light and ways and means as part of the approval process, but then if there's a grievance that a citizen wants to file, they come before full council. Isn't that kind of a conflict? You guys are denying it, they're coming before, and then you're gonna be part of the grievance process? Don't think so? Okay. All right. Will employees and elected officials be allowed to participate in the program?
See, why not? If their sidewalk's in disrepair and it's flagged as a bad piece of sidewalk, it needs to be done.
What about a citizen who's not paid their taxes?
Me personally, I would say the safety issue comes first.
And we're getting our money first before we do anything.
Yep.
You know what I mean? For that portion, just for the safety aspect of it.
And
you know
we're
what I mean?
fixing blight,
Huh?
and we're fixing blight.
Yeah.
Well, I understand the program, but I also have a problem using our tax dollars, especially if the citizen hasn't paid their taxes to repair their sidewalk, but
But the only problem is, is the liability, whose liability is it? Is it not the city's? It is.
yeah, I think it becomes both, doesn't it, Kim?
Well, you're
Isn't
still
that what you
gonna,
always said?
we're still gonna
The
be
city's
named.
also gonna get named.
We're gonna get named no matter what.
Let's see. I already gave that scenario. Are we gonna maintain a list of approved contractors, or are they just gonna be able to select who they choose? When you get better pricing, if we have a list of selected contractors?
We can do that, but right now, we've probably got the best we've ever seen.
Yeah,
In my opinion.
concrete, yeah.
Are they gonna be permitted to perform their own work, or are they gonna be required to use, if somebody's having their sidewalk done, can they do it themselves, or do they have to have a contractor perform?
I think we talked about that too, they gotta use our contractors.
Okay, so they, you were just
Right.
talking about, people who were contractors that might be able to excavate or tear it out themselves, or you going
As
to
far as tearing it out. I
tearing it
promise
out?
that.
Okay, but to
But
put it
as far as
back,
putting it back, it's gotta be uniform and consistent.
okay,
That'll cost the homeowner more money.
I'm sorry.
That'll cost the homeowner more money, not being able to choose their contractor. I know at SD1, we have a list of plumbers that are certified plumbers, and you can
Right.
have certified construction or concrete workers, layers. But we was never able to tell them who they had to choose or whatever, that's their choice, so.
Okay, I'm assuming, it'll be inspected for proper installation.
But what if we do now? What do we do now?
We don't, there's nothing that's being done.
Okay, the last thing I have is, okay, a driveway, you mentioned driveway aprons. If someone just wants their apron replaced and it's not part of the sidewalk repair, they're gonna be permitted to just do the apron with, the
At their own-
50/50 program?
At their own cost.
I'm sorry?
At their own cost.
At their own cost, not, okay.
If it's not part of the issue, anything that's not part of the issue is at their own cost.
Okay, so if they just came and say, we want you to replace our driveway apron and
Their own cost.
they're on our.
What if there's
I
tripping?
don't agree with that. In the past, the driveway apron is considered part of the curb. Because if you got a curb and water travels and the driveway skirt is low, then that water lays in there and it gets under the blacktop and it doesn't travel down the street to get to the catch basins. So when an apron was replaced on Boone Street in some of the curb projects, the apron was poured up to the sidewalk. The sidewalk was not included, but you had that lip on the apron where the water was supposed to continue traveling down the street surface.
So it sounds like the apron would be replaced as part of a curb project.
Yes.
Okay. And what about, okay, you got the sidewalks that pass through the driveways, okay? Like, and you were talking about this, that this program affects the city right away. So in the case of my home, and I'm just using it as an example, I have about 2 foot of my driveway that is in the city right away. So let's play devil's advocate and say that part of my driveway is all crumbled up and I need my sidewalk repaired. Will you also repair that portion of my driveway that is messed up? Because it sits in the city right away based on where my survey is.
Don't have an answer for that.
What you did previously on that, Dave?
Yeah, the
Well,
apron part, I guess, if the curb comes down, you could roll it down and put 1.5 inches across that skirt.
I'm talking about actual driveway. Because your city right of way runs from, what is it, 30 from the center?
From the
Okay, now, on our house, the particular, or piece of rebar marking our property line is 2 foot onto our driveway at least. So if that portion of my driveway is all messed up, and my sidewalk is messed up in front of it, and I apply, will I be able to get that portion of my driveway? Because it sits in the right of way.
Is the sidewalk part of the driveway part of the sidewalk?
Well, you're doing the sidewalk through the driveway, so.
Is it a tripping hazard?
Yeah.
Is it a violation, in violation?
Well, it's kind of no different than they're saying to replace the apron.
Well, that's what I'm saying about the apron. In order to get a curb on the apron, if you do that, the apron comes down, now you've created a catch point in that apron. So the apron has to be replaced and elevated to the curb in order to give it the lip going across there.
So the answer is yes.
So the apron is considered part of the curb, and it's in the right of way. But most right of ways, we as homeowners are responsible to maintain the right of ways. Not to replace the right of ways, but to maintain the right of ways.
But this project says okay, it says sidewalk within the public right of way, but then you talk about, okay, the apron. All right, I need somebody to explain to me what the courtesy walk is that runs perpendicular from the main sidewalk to the curb.
That's where you park your car and open the door to get
No,
out.
okay, then what is the small strip of the landing step, which is described as a small strip of concrete sometimes found adjacent to the curb? What's the difference there?
Yeah, we call those the same thing.
Okay.
That would be part of the curb, right?
The strip
Yeah.
between the two. Yeah, but what she's saying is you're calling it 2 different names for the same piece.
Yeah, you got a courtesy walk which runs perpendicular from the main sidewalk to the curb. And you've got an existing landing step, a small strip of concrete sometimes found adjacent to the curb.
Yeah, you don't find them every place. Some cities got them,
Yeah.
some don't, you know what I mean?
So that's one and the same, is that what you're describing? One
Yeah,
and the same?
some of them's got concrete, they've got the curb, it'll be a concrete landing about like this.
Right, and we got one in front of our house.
Unless they may be talking about the curb surface to the sidewalk, but the sidewalk's elevated, so there's a step. So maybe we just ramp them so that it's a smooth
Okay.
and not a flat with a step. That eliminates this trip hazard.
Okay.
All right, that it?
That's it.
All right, Kim, you got anything else? Okay.
I know everybody's the job of them.
Shit.
No, I did, no. All right. Need a motion, somebody that we go with, was it resolution 4124?
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 4114.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Do a roll call.
Mike,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
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 President not voting.
What was that, Bill?
President not
Not
voting.
voting.
Ways and Means, Mike.
I actually don't have much different than last month. Kind of waiting on the grocery receipts payment for this month to see how things line up with BP. So that's really all I've got.
What about the audit report? Is that gonna be given?
Yeah, I'll check. I mean, I know they were late. It drug on for some reason, and actually we had to submit a extension through this.
Are you?
Yeah. So I can't give you an answer. I'll get you one.
Well, I didn't know, she's not gonna come and present like she normally does?
I would assume so.
Oh,
But
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Okay, Diane, you got anything on the part?
No, I'm still just waiting on Tony he ordered the brick or the veneer for the wall covering. He's checking on pricing for what we could use for the top cover. And I'm still trying to find someone who can give me a price for separation fencing between the baseball court and the soccer field so that the balls don't interfere with each other.
Okay.
So that's all that's going on there.
Okay. All right.
So on the veneer, we're gonna cover up the murals?
No, on the street side of it, just on the
Under
top.
concession, okay.
No, up by the memorial. The bare wall
This side of
on the
wall
back of
goes
the
around
memorial.
Old backstop.
Or behind the old backstop?
Yeah.
I thought that painting was all the way around.
On the other side of it.
Yeah.
The street
Oh,
side.
there's
The
sticks
street
in
side.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Insurance grants, Andy?
We're on the policy renewal right now. I'd say about halfway done with it. I was waiting on some documentation from KLC. They finally got it to me either yesterday or the day before yesterday, so I'll be glad when it's done.
Okay. Did you look at what I talked to you a few weeks ago about Ask the Insurance Company?
Yeah, I sent you a
That we're
link.
gonna have some, huh?
They responded to me, I forwarded you the email. It's totally possible. You just fall under the same stipulations as anybody hiring, a minor in the state of Kentucky. There's limitations to how long you can work it and stuff like that, but
Okay.
I sent you a link with the breakdown.
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward.
All right.
Yeah.
You have somebody in mind that you're hiring as a line?
No, I just came up, when I was talking to like Bob and Jack, that, that maybe there's some local kids during the summer, that maybe we could offer them a job opportunity for hours a day or something, Bob, cleaning, trash, doing, you know what I mean? Just for local kids, you know what I mean? To get the word out, hey, you can work, for maybe 20 hours a week, just to give them, something to do. But then we gotta find what need it is that we need to do the work for, so. And I first wanted to ask the insurance company if it was feasible, we could do that, I'll look at that, for some reason I didn't see it.
Gotta pay them, at least minimum wage.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's
I
like,
think,
The tree grant was submitted on March the 26th.
Oh, okay.
The deadline was extended to April the 5th, so we're just waiting to see if we're gonna be approved for it.
I hope we get that, man.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Okay, under mayor's reports, I got a couple things. I sent the council members all this energy Duke Energy efficiency proposal. Did you all take a look at that? Did you look at it? I just want to know what the council feels about it. The total cost of the upgrade is almost $9,000. Okay, the utilities will pay 21% of that. Our cost would be $7,216.46. Estimated savings per year by changing all these lights to LED is going to be almost $1,200.
A year?
Per year, yes.
So 5 years at $6,000?
Yeah.
And our total cost is what, 7,000?
$7,216.
So we're still $2,000 in the hole after 5 years?
Yeah, but the long-term benefit to that, you know what I mean?
But as they raise rates, is there really a long-term
Well,
benefit?
There's an option of a lump sum payment, which reduces the total payment to $6,422.
Yes.
Is that something we could hire and have done as a retrofit, or do we have to utilize them?
Well, to get this kind of break, we have to utilize them. I could get it, ask Electric what they could do to come in and change every one of these lights out. I mean, every light in the building, both bays, down here, the council chamber will get all new lighting. You know what I mean, that's included in this. It's every light in here, they can change to LEDs.
With the street lighting, they did the same thing, changing them.
Right.
And they also furnish the maintenance on the street lights. Well, they furnish the maintenance on.
There's no maintenance on these, no.
And the lifespan of an LED is probably far exceeds the
Oh, it's
lifespan
like
of the
four,
fluorescent.
yes, you know.
I'm pretty sure on these, you have to remove the ballast.
Yeah, they gotta come and take the
Okay.
lights apart. Something about the ends, some of the ends have to be replaced, you know what I mean? I just think it's a great thing to do, and it'll be better lighting in the city. I'm tired of these ballasts burn out, you know what I mean? It's just a constant maintenance issue, you know? So I really think that council should really,
Well, I think the lifespan of the new lighting would outweigh, I mean, you're gonna essentially save money in the future once you pay
Yeah.
for these. And I think the amount of time that they would last will outweigh the cost of recouping your money. So you're gonna save money by doing it. It's just a matter
They
of.
kind of worked on that program, I mean, did they warrant fighting for any certain period of time?
I know everything was covered in the first year. I don't know about an extended, you know what I mean? I could ask them that, but they never said anything. Everything's taken care of in the first year. If the light goes bad, they replace the light, you know, in the first year operation. I'll have to find out if they gave me anything on that, but that was the only thing I know of. Yeah, if we pay the full, it drops it down to $6,422. You know, so it's up to council what you all want to do, but I think it's a good deal. Especially how old these lights are and everything, you know, they've been up here forever.
Are they doing these too?
Oh, yeah, down here?
So they're doing
Every light in the building.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, there's not one area, every light in this building, they walk through everything, you know, in here. Now, the only ones they don't do is, I think there's a couple of screw-in bulbs around here, and all they do is leave an LED bulb to screw in that, you know. But the ones that fixtures with all the fluorescents will be replaced.
I think it's a good thing. Anytime we have an avenue to save money in the future, and I think this would pay for itself easily. So I would make a motion that we go ahead and switch out the electrical lighting capacity in the building to LEDs.
Okay.
Second.
Then, that's a motion, Dave. Okay, second.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. One thing about, do you know 102 Pike Street, who owns that building or whatever? It used to be the old Combs. Wasn't it Combs Printing in there?
Yeah, I don't know who owns it, but
Uh-huh.
it's had vacant for years, and then somebody bought it and they put a woodworking shop in it, and now it's up for sale again.
Yeah, okay. I was just curious about it. Huh.
Is that the one by the keyhole?
Across the street in the next block.
They have their vans.
There's a
parked.
big,
It's
apartment
a
building.
shotgun building.
Yeah, white.
So, that was initiated by an email from a gentleman asking who he would need to speak to about the sale of the property and potential interest in purchasing the renovation. But is there a realty sign there currently that they
There
would
was a for
contact?
sale sign a few weeks ago, I don't know if it's gone. You can go to the PBA and look up, who owns the property. Just, it'll ask for your, you can either do it by name or you can do it by location. And it's a free access, Kent County PBA.
Should I provide him that info or have him,
I'm sorry.
should I provide that to him or have him look up the info on the website himself?
I would let him look it up
Yeah.
himself.
Just give them that information there, let them look for
Was
this.
he coming to the city to see if there's an interest on the city's part to purchase the
He
property?
just, I suppose, wanted to know who to ask questions about the property. And I don't necessarily know what he wants to know or how deep that goes, but I think PBA would provide the basics. And then if there's a name of an owner, which there usually is, he could potentially contact them to get more
There
information.
should be an address there for the owner where his mailing address is, and they, at the very least, send a letter to him.
There is a sign.
As far as an interest.
Okay.
One last thing that I got, the city, it's our turn to have the Memorial Day services held down at our monument down here. So I just want to let the council know that we have to arrange. Now, what they do is we have to normally provide hot dog and water or something like that at the end of the parade. So,
They're not doing that at the vets?
no. I was told that they're gonna do it, if they wanna do it down here, where it ends.
Yeah, they took that away from us a while back and said that they would only stop long enough to place a wreath and go on up to Ludlow and have it at Ludlow every year.
I was told to get 75 chairs and a speaker, and I would have everything set up down here. Okay, so they're gonna form, that will be it. After that, then I was told that was the end of it. The services down here, so they might stop up at Ludlow on the way down here, do a real
But
quick.
that's what they used to do.
Yeah.
That's what they used to do.
Yeah.
But there was always a parade committee and with Paula
Yeah,
and them up there.
well, I just found out about that.
I started saying, you're just gonna
Just-
find out at the
I
last.
just now found out about it, you know. So, and we have a meeting, actually, I was gonna ask you, Diane, to attend it with me and Mike. What day was it?
The 25th, I think.
Yeah, the 25th to go over.
Okay, I'm assuming, yeah.
Yeah.
At
So-
6 o'clock?
Yeah.
So it kind of caught me off guard because I didn't know, you know, I got the email that what I needed to have the end of services down here, so. Okay, that's all I got. Need a,
Mayor, if I can bounce back to road real quick, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I forgot. I had a gentleman contact me about parking spaces where they would take, like over in Cincinnati, there's a lot of private parking spaces, and the city of Cincinnati gets the money, and they either do meters or they just put a thing up and charge the cars when they park in that. And he contacted me about the city of Bromley using them, and he would send information. I told him we don't have enough city property
No.
that would benefit either of us, so
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know that we was contacted.
all right. So I'm gonna make a motion, we accept the committee reports.
I'll make a motion to accept committee reports.
So,
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Old business? Anybody got old business? Okay, what about new business?
Date for the big cleanup, big city cleanup. It's usually the second
Second
Saturday in
May.
May, but you might want to reach out to
Yeah.
Rumpke to make sure.
Okay. And
For
then,
the big city cleanup?
yeah, and post it on the,
We reach out to Rumpke first to make sure they're going to provide it. Was that part of the contract this time?
yeah,
But make sure that date's, the one year they had to postpone it to September.
yeah. They still do that if it rains a lot? Do they cancel due to weather? No? No.
Has the code of ordinances been updated for the new ones that's been adopted since the codification?
No, not yet. We need to do that.
Because we're,
Terry's actually trying to get information on that, and I have to just, she told me the dates and stuff, that was like a week ago, I just have to provide her the ordinances from the date and then to now.
yeah,
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 because
so
we talked
it's in
about
the
it.
works.
we should And it should be done on an annual basis because we're paying them like almost $500
I
a
thought they were
year.
gonna do it every month.
I thought so too.
I thought we were
I
gonna
thought
do
they
it
were
every,
doing it as they changed.
well, it's our responsibility to send them to them on a monthly, on a whatever basis,
Like
2,
you
3
said,
months.
you're paying for that
Yeah,
service.
we're paying for the service.
I've noticed they are changing them. I know they are. So, but we're not taking them off, I guess, the ones that got changed.
The last time I looked, I didn't see what any of them had been updated.
I
I'll go
saw
back
some
out.
of the new
I've
ones.
seen a couple of new ones.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that I did too.
Yeah.
What
I think
chapter
there's
do
a
they,
different tab.
I don't know, but I've seen a couple of new
do
ones.
they take the old ones off and they put
They
them
don't, they do not.
No, that's Kent County.
That's what I'm saying.
The city has their own.
I don't know I don't know if we need to check with them,
I
let them
think if
change
you
and take
amended,
them
like
off.
if you've got an existing ordinance that was amended by a new ordinance, that they would go in and make those
Yeah.
changes to get what you remember them saying? Like if you got an ordinance about something and you change a date or change a time or something, I thought that they would go in and do that.
Right. My understanding from reading the contract, we were to supply them the ordinances. They weren't gonna come onto our website, grab them and put them on. We were supposed to send them
Right, we
to
had to
them.
get them to,
Yeah.
but then they go ahead and just fit it in there.
In our, I think that was what, it was finished in 21, I think, the codification? Yeah, I think it was 21, sometime in 21, but it may have only been through like 20, sometime June of 20 that the last one went up, or whatever. And then, one other thing, is there a problem with the website that the financials aren't going up for 2024?
VC3 has
Yeah.
some new faces and they were being plugged in wrong places. For instance, all of them got put under one report. And I've just been this back and forth imaging and highlighting and trying to explain it. But they actually today, I had the main person on the phone and they're cleaning all that up now.
Okay.
So they've got all the financials and then the minutes as well.
Okay.
So it was just some
It's
new
been-
people that
yeah.
had to be educated, and it's been a back and forth game, and then it's really fun for me because I tell them 100 times my office hours and my email, but they'll call the office and leave a voicemail here on Monday and then Tuesday, then they email me, we couldn't reach you, and then it's just like this vicious cycle. So today, the financials should definitely be cleared, and then the minutes are the next project.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the grass at the old memorial needs to be cut?
I was cut the other day.
Was it?
Yeah.
It didn't look like it.
Bob, the, grass down by the memorial, has it been
By
cut?
the old one, by the old memorial?
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody.
I'll take a look at it and I'll call them if I do. I don't know why I don't know that. I drive by.
You look
it
at
every
it.
day.
You live right there.
Is
I
that
know.
part of what Roger's supposed to do?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he takes care of that, doesn't he?
Yeah, and they mowed the park.
Yeah, they
Oh,
did,
okay.
because I just talked to him today.
Okay.
You want me to call and ask him about that?
Yeah,
I know it's been cut once.
yeah.
I know for a fact.
Well,
That was
and when I
one-
talked to him today about the soccer field,
Yeah.
obviously because of the weather, he's been, but I don't know when the last time it was
It's
cut.
been a while.
I know I'm thinking about going over and cutting that tree down. I hate looking at that
What
tree.
tree?
That
I
pine tree in
I
there.
vote to cut it down.
That's you know what I'm talking about? It's a tree inside of a tree.
Yeah.
Oh,
I see.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is the goofiest looking thing.
Do you want me to have you see?
Yeah, if you wouldn't
Okay.
mind. Yeah, that just needs, that looks terrible.
Do we know how deep those planters are in the tops of those columns over there at that little park?
Oh, God.
Somebody
I
might-
have no idea.
I noticed the succulents and stuff growing in the top, and it's kind of cool looking, but I didn't know how deep they were.
They've been in there forever, too. They've been there forever. Okay, any communication?
Under new business, I've been thinking, everybody's committee's been growing and a lot more commitment to it. In the past, and the new council, at the election this year, when they come in, they're gonna be taking on more responsibilities than what previous councils have been doing. And it's been quite a while. I know we've given employees raises. With the way things have increased, responsibilities and time constraints, contact points and so forth. I'd like to just give the new council coming in the opportunity to be paid a little bit more than what council is being paid at this time.
How does council feel about that? When was the last time the council?
It's always a death sentence when you get yourself raised as an elected official. I don't know how else to say it. But,
Does anybody know when the last time that council?
I'm sure council hasn't been
It
given
went from
raises.
75 to 100, but I couldn't tell you when.
15 years ago.
Couldn't tell you when.
It certainly hasn't kept up with inflation or anything. I will say this, from an outside perspective, from someone who used to be on another council in another state. We got paid $100 a meeting, but we met twice a month.
Right.
And we met for subcommittee meetings, we get paid for those. It's glorified volunteerism.
Oh,
You run for office, it's a lot of work for very little reward, and then but I think people deserve to be compensated for the work they do as council members. It is work. And inflation's through the roof, and I'm sure it probably does need an adjustment. What were you thinking?
I
I was gonna ask, what we do, the ordinance says everybody gets a little raise.
a little raise. I did check with other councils and they get pretty good pay, similar to what you had just spoke about. I think those numbers, but it's glorified. I've coached sports for 46 years. Was on the fire department for 27 years. I've been on council for probably 20 years. And you do it because you want to do it. You're not doing it to get rich. But I think, $100 for what time you spend and everything. I would say probably $50 across the council.
Or would you guys consider?
And the mayor, of course, gets his bump too.
The interesting thing with Bromley too, again, from an outside perspective, is we don't have a city manager.
Right.
Here I am trying to do the insurance policy renewal for the entire city as a council member.
Correct.
Normally that would be something that would be handled by a city administrator or city manager. And we don't have that. And in effect, the city of Bromley is saving anywhere from $30,000 to $60,000 a year
Ludlow's,
by not having that. What does Ludlow pay their
Ludlow
city?
pays theirs $80,000.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me for their population. And for us to get a part-time city manager to take up your responsibility, my responsibility, would probably be about 30 to 40 for a part-time, if I had to guess, to take on all those responsibilities. So the fact that all these council members have been doing these things that should be delegated to someone else. I know a lot of you have been doing it for years. I think $50 a month per council member is.
Oh, I just threw that out there. If anybody wants to double it, it's probably closer to,
It's probably closer to, I would think at this point with the economy the way it is. But and I'd love for anybody else, literally, to chime in on this. It's a very sensitive
Yeah. and
topic.
I'm not one to say, give myself a raise, so. I'm not saying that I don't.
no, that's
think
why it's always been
Yeah.
a public. Yeah, KRS
Somebody-
says we can't give ourselves a raise, so may not even be here next year, but whoever comes in, I know it's
It's not for
probably
this,
worth
it's
it.
not for this council that's being done for it, for the
No.
council that's coming in. So when anybody wants to make a motion at a certain amount, make the motion and move with it.
I'll go ahead and fight the bullet. I agree with Dave, maybe $50. Me personally, I do it because I really care for the city. I mean, other people may not think that, but that's why I do it. And I would have spent 30 some years of my life, but volunteering my time, and possibly could have died in well over 100 and some fires. Seeing people with, their brains shot out. I wouldn't have done that if I didn't care for people. So, and that was for $0. Got nothing in that.
We know they're with you.
Yeah, he was right there with us. Well, Dave too.
Yeah.
So, not too many people do that anymore. matter of fact, that volunteerism is gone, you know?
Well, I also think maybe, you know, people out there is like, oh crap, I ain't running for council for $80 a month after taxes.
I mean, I,
Now you put something out there and you may have people say, you know what, I could use an extra $150 a month or whatever. And we may have more competition running for council.
I would say 100, but then that's not me, so maybe I shouldn't be the one,
No,
yeah. But I'll make a motion 150. If you guys want to change that, I'm in favor of it.
Is it $50 a month for
Additional $50 a month.
each council person and the mayor?
So 150, I think you're,
I think the line, I don't know.
He's 150.
150, so he goes to 2, we go to 150.
Damn,
You go to car shopping tomorrow, won't you?
all right, we got a motion on the floor.
225 and 175 for council members would be
What'd you say?
my motion. 175 for council members, 225 for the mayor.
I'll rescind my first motion and defer to Andy.
So make your motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
So Andy,
This
motion for
has to be done by
75
ordinance,
increase for
obviously.
Right, right,
non-council
yeah.
and how much
So
for
I'll
mayor?
prepare an ordinance.
175 council, 225 mayor.
Council members get $75 a month, and the mayor gets $75 a month.
All right, got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
President not voting.
Okay. Get that.
Is that considered a roll call or just president not?
Just president.
Okay, we need a motion to bills to be paid,
Make a motion, we pay them.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion for adjournment,
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Mike said.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?